The NBA is a star-driven league that has done a fantastic job marketing the biggest names in the sport, and those players that make it to the top naturally get a majority of the attention for a reason. While the best players are the ones driving a lot of the success on their teams, every rotation has at least one player that flies under the radar and provides stellar impact that, unless you're a fan of that specific team, you're probably not fully aware of. This brings us to today's video, where we will be going through all 30 NBA teams, and we will be picking out the hidden gem from each squad, being the player that probably doesn't get as much credit as they deserve for the role that they play. Before we start though, I want to thank Lovable AI for sponsoring today's video. Are you tired of struggling with back-end integrations in your application building? If so, check this out. Lovable AI is the easiest way to build full-stack applications using AI. All you have to do is describe what you want, and it creates everything, including complete front-end, database setup, and user authentication, all with a native Superbase integration. While others on the market make you struggle with the back-end stuff, Lovable makes it extremely easy and user-friendly, which, for a beginner like me, is making it one of my favorite AI-based application building tools on the market. To alleviate all of your application building needs, go down to the link in the description and in the pinned comment and get started using Lovable today. You won't believe how easy and helpful this tool can be to scale your needs without breaking the bank. Once again, thank you to Lovable for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back to the topic at hand. Going in alphabetical order, we'll start with the Atlanta Hawks, and their biggest hidden gem is Vit Krejci. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you didn't even know who this was, but Vit is someone who has an incredibly unique skill set as a 6'8" combo guard sharpshooter, coming off of the season where he just knocked down 44% of his threes after he hit 41% of his threes the year prior. He's a lanky, fluid athlete with a smooth shooting stroke, and even with the backcourt improvements that the Hawks made this offseason, he will likely remain a consistent bench option for them. Next is the Boston Celtics, and their hidden gem is Sam Hauser. The Celtics had been a juggernaut over the last few seasons with a star-studded starting lineup and the Sixth Man of the Year winner in Peyton Pritchard last season, but Hauser has actually been a less heralded, vital asset coming off the team's bench, allowing them to continue their bombs-away three-point shooting playstyle as an absolute lights-out sharpshooter of his own. In 4 seasons, Hauser has never shot below 41% from 3, he scores about 9 points per game. His off-ball movement and ability to find his balance while relocating and get his shot off quickly supplies the kind of floor spacing few teams are able to replicate, and now with the Celtics undergoing a bit of a mini rebuild season coming up, he's going to be playing even more minutes. Next is the Brooklyn Nets, and their hidden gem is Day'Ron Sharpe. Nick Claxton has been one of the team's best players starting ahead of Sharpe at center, but Sharpe is quickly becoming an incredibly productive backup center, capable of doing exactly what is needed from him in that role. In 4 seasons, he's quietly been one of the league's best rebounders per minute, averaging 6.6 rebounds total per game, but per 36, he hauls in about 13 rebounds. Last season, and he was hauling in about 15 rebounds per 36 minutes the year before, so when he's in the game, he's the one controlling the glass. Next is the Charlotte Hornets, and their hidden gem is Tre Mann. Mann was poised for a big breakout season last year before he got injured, but since being traded to Charlotte back in 2024, he's been able to play freely and unleash his creative playmaking and shot-making skills in a sixth-man role. He was only healthy for 13 games last year, but in those games, he averaged about 14 points, shooting 40% from 3, and the year before, he was averaging about 12 points and 5 assists per game with the Hornets, so at full strength, he could find himself in a sixth-man of the year race at his best. Next is the Chicago Bulls, and their hidden gem is Matas Buzelis. Buzelis isn't really that hidden of a gem, but the Bulls don't have many players that really fit like that, so Buzelis gets the nod as an obvious gem that hasn't necessarily broken out yet. He closed out last season on a tear during his rookie season, utilizing his 6'10" size, crafty skill on the ball, his finishing skills, and his improving jumper to show flashes of potential future stardom, and in year 2, we should expect his production to take a sizable leap. Next is the Cleveland Cavaliers, and their hidden gem is DeAndre Hunter. Hunter quietly had the best season of his career last year, both in his time with the Hawks and after being traded to the Cavaliers, and is easily one of the best bench players in the entire NBA. He's a strong, versatile perimeter defender that just put up 17 points per game, shooting 47% from the field and 41% from 3, and in a full season with the Cavs, will continue to be a big part of their success as they look to maintain their top seed status in the Eastern Conference. Next is the Dallas Mavericks, and their hidden gem is Najee Marshall. Marshall is a mid-range scoring assassin that will give your team buckets with ease, and if you're not familiar with his game, it will probably frustrate you immensely as you watch him give your team buckets. He's a tough shot maker with fantastic footwork, his body control as he pulls up over shot contests is pretty outstanding, and after averaging a career-high 12 points per game for the season as a whole, he ended up averaging 20 points per game from March through the end of the season when the Mavericks were a bit beat up by injuries, showing he can handle more of a scoring load if necessary. Next is the Denver Nuggets, and their hidden gem is Cameron Johnson. Johnson has been one of the most out-of-place role players in the league for a few years now as a two-way wing in the prime of his career who had been playing great basketball on a lowly Nets team out of the public eye. Now that he's in Denver, he's going to surprise a lot of people with how easily he can replace Michael Porter Jr.'s scoring as a highly efficient shooter from deep that just put up 19 points per game last season, and he's doing it for half the price of MPJ2. Next is the Detroit Pistons, and their hidden gem is Jaden Ivey. The Pistons went on a nice surge in the second half of last season and had a strong showing in the playoffs despite losing the first round to the Knicks, so a lot of fans are probably unaware of how well Ivey was playing to start the year before he suffered a season-ending injury 30 games in. Ivey's got blistering speed to provide a different look as a ball handler and scorer next to Cade Cunningham in the backcourt, and he was shooting a career-best 40% from 3, also scoring a career-best 18 points per game before he went down, so if his jumper can prove to be legit, he could help elevate this team to new heights. Next is the Golden State Warriors, and their hidden gem is Quinton Post. Post was a late second-round pick in last year's draft who ended up having one of the stronger rookie seasons from the class last year out of nowhere. He's a 7-footer with a sweet shooting stroke, taking about 4 threes per game, hitting them at a 41% clip, and by the end of the year went from playing sparingly to solidifying himself as an important part of the team's rotation. Next is the Houston Rockets, and their hidden gem is Steven Adams. Adams missed all of the 2024 season due to injury, so this past year it took him a while to get back into the swing of things, but by the end of the season he was this team's unsung hero on defense, both backing up Alperen Şengün and capably playing next to him, anchoring the defense in a Twin Towers lineup. In the playoffs, the Rockets allowed a whopping 16.4 fewer points per 100 possessions with him on the court, and the Rockets re-signed him in free agency because they know in certain matchups they are going to need him. Next is the Indiana Pacers, and their hidden gem is Jay Huff. Huff's first 4 seasons in the NBA have seen him bounce from team to team, playing sparingly, but last year in Memphis he got his first taste of consistent playing time, and he played like one of the league's better stretch big men in limited minutes. Now that he's in Indiana, he is set for an even bigger role where his sneaky athleticism, confident shooting stroke, and versatility will be needed without Miles Turner on the team anymore. Next is the Los Angeles Clippers, and their hidden gem is Chris Dunn. The Clippers are a team loaded with big names and high-end talent across the board, but Dunn is sneakily one of their most important pieces off the bench. He does the dirty work defending the perimeter at a truly elite level, and can play either guard spot to ensure he's able to help out in a ton of different lineups, depending on what the situation calls for. Next is the Los Angeles Lakers, and their hidden gem is Rui Hachimura. The Lakers are the league's biggest brand, with LeBron James and Luka Doncic dominating conversations and headlines, plus Austin Reeves breaking out as a legitimately high-end shooting guard, but Rui Hachimura, game after game, provides steady and consistent production without being flashy or overbearing. He's a solid defensive forward who scores 13 points per game, shooting the ball 51% from the field and 41% from three, doing the job asked of him next to high-level stars. Next is the Memphis Grizzlies, and their hidden gem is Scottie Pippen Jr. Pippen's probably more known for being the son of Michael Jordan's running mate and Hall of Famer Scottie Pippen, but he's not someone who has skated by on his parents' name by any means. He is genuinely developing into a high-end, productive member of the team's rotation. Pippen is an incredibly efficient backup point guard that just averaged 10 points and 4.5 assists per game behind Ja Morant, shooting the ball 48% from the field and 40% from three, and in the playoffs, he went down swinging, scoring 28 points and 30 points in the final 2 games of that series against Oklahoma City, solidifying that he is one of the better backup point guards in the NBA. Next is the Miami Heat, and their hidden gem is Davion Mitchell. Mitchell's career was on the verge of flaming out in Sacramento, where he was finding his role diminishing more and more every year, but after he was traded to Miami, there was new life breathed into his career, and he looks ready to take off now. In the 30 games that he played with the Heat after the trade, he averaged about 10 points and 5 assists per game, shooting 51% from the field and 45% from three, locking guys up on defense and playing with more confidence on the ball than ever before. And while those shooting splits may not be fully sustainable over the course of a whole season, he could absolutely keep the confident play up on a team that clearly believes in him. Next is the Milwaukee Bucks, and their hidden gem is AJ Green. AJ Green may not be the most well-rounded player, but he's absolutely elite at one thing, and it's shooting the basketball. His work ethic off the ball frees him up for open looks off the catch, and he's comfortable getting shots off on the move, spotting up, fading, and off the dribble with deep range. He's a 43% shooter from three on 5 attempts per game, subbing in and giving the team instant offense. Next is the Minnesota Timberwolves, and their hidden gem is Donte DiVincenzo. The Wolves don't really have a hidden gem in the truest sense of the word, but with Naz Reid being one of the best bench players in the NBA, for them, Donte DiVincenzo can sometimes get overshadowed as a player who could easily be in 6th Man of the Year conversations in his own right on most other teams. DiVincenzo has shot 40% from three in 3 straight seasons now. He comfortably takes a high volume of threes per game, taking 7 a night, and is the jolt of offense that can change this team's outlook at any given moment. Next is the New Orleans Pelicans, and their hidden gem is Herb Jones. The Pelicans have been one of the most chaotic teams in the NBA over the last few seasons, but through all of the uncertainty, Herb Jones has been one constant for them. Herb is one of the best defensive talents the NBA has, bar none, with a first-team all-defense on his resume already. The Pelicans were a massive 10.5 points better per 100 possessions with him on the floor last year, and if he can consistently make a league-average amount of his threes, he will be one of the best 3-and-D wings for years to come. Next is the New York Knicks, and their hidden gem is Guerschon Yabusele. Yabusele's NBA career seemed to have flamed out back in 2019 after 2 disappointing seasons with the Celtics, but he returned to the NBA last year with the 76ers after having played overseas for a while, and he re-emerged despite the Sixers' season as a whole crashing and burning. Yabusele will give the Knicks much-needed front court depth as a strong-bodied, floor-spacing forward that can finally allow the starters to get some rest. Next is the Oklahoma City Thunder, and their hidden gem is Cason Wallace. The Thunder were incredibly stacked top to bottom, and their depth was on display throughout their run to the title in the playoffs. But one player that constantly stuck out to me and impressed me game after game was Wallace. He just has a nose for making winning plays on both ends of the floor without needing to dominate the ball or do anything flashy, and as a secondary playmaker, perimeter defender, shooter, and creator in spurts, he's the type of role player every team dreams of having. Next is the Orlando Magic, and their hidden gem is Mo Wagner. Mo's brother and teammate Franz Wagner is one of the leaders of this group as a borderline all-star talent, but Mo is quietly one of the league's best bench scoring talents. He's a stretch big man with a useful handle for a big, capable of scoring from all three levels, he's a talented post scorer, he spaces the floor, and he just averaged 13 points per game playing less than 19 minutes per game, which equates to about 25 points per 36 minutes, making him one of the best bench scorers per minute. Next is the Philadelphia 76ers, and their hidden gem is Adem Bona. Bona was a second-round pick in last year's draft, not really expected to do much as a rookie at all, but due to a combination of a ton of injuries ahead of him and surprisingly strong play in the opportunities he did get, he's now emerging as an early favorite to win the backup center job for Philadelphia behind Joel Embiid going into the new year. Bona just ranked in the top 10 of the entire NBA last year in blocks per 36 minutes of the players that played at least 50 games. He's a great pick-and-roll big man that serves as a useful lob threat, and as a defensive anchor, he's still very raw in terms of staying disciplined and minimizing fouls, but his shot-blocking instincts are fantastic. Next is the Phoenix Suns, and their hidden gem is Colin Gillespie. Gillespie really wasn't supposed to even make it in the NBA as an undrafted guard who played entirely in the G League as a rookie, played almost entirely garbage time minutes in his second year with the Nuggets, then he signed a two-way contract with the Suns last year, and by the end of the season he was their starting point guard. Gillespie is a great shooter of the basketball, making 43% of his threes, but he's also just a really smart floor general type of guard that runs the offense without taking many risks or making many mistakes. Despite his physical and athletic limitations, he's a useful NBA player overcoming the odds. Next is the Portland Trail Blazers, and their hidden gem is Toumani Camara. Camara is another player who was drafted late in the second round and is beating the odds, becoming one of the most impactful two-way players on the rise. He's nowhere close to a household name yet, pretty much only because he's playing for the lowly rebuilding Trailblazers, but he was rightfully named to the all-defense team in just his second season because he can take on any matchup 1 through 5 and make life hell for the opposing team's best player, and then he also puts up an efficient 11 points and 6 rebounds per night on top of it. Next is the Sacramento Kings, and their hidden gem is Keon Ellis. Ellis defines the 3-and-D archetype as one of the only players on this roster that actually defends hard out on the perimeter, and he does this embracing an off-ball role, shooting a red-hot 43% from 3. He's exceeded all expectations of himself as a shooter, and he's lived up to the hype he came into the NBA with as a defender, but doesn't get nearly as much credit for it because of how disappointing the Kings as a whole tend to be. Next is the San Antonio Spurs, and their hidden gem is Luke Kornet. Kornet was a hidden gem on Boston last season who had an incredible moment in the playoffs where he blocked 7 shots in a game that Kristaps Porzingis missed, and now he's taking that shot-blocking prowess to the Spurs to be a steady backup for Victor Wembanyama. Next is the Toronto Raptors, and their hidden gem is Jakob Poeltl. Poeltl is probably one of the most productive starting centers in the league that never gets talked about. He just averaged about 14.5 points and 10 rebounds per game, adding about 2.5 steals plus blocks a night as well, holding things together for a defense that performs infinitely better with him on the court versus when he's on the bench. Next is the Utah Jazz, and their hidden gem is Walker Kessler. Kessler's story is similar to Poeltl as a high-end starting center flying under the radar because he's doing his work on a lowly team out of the public eye. Kessler just led the NBA in offensive rebounding and ranked second in the NBA in blocks per game, making himself a popular trade target for a playoff team looking for an upgrade inside. And finally, the last team is the Washington Wizards, and their hidden gem is Bub Carrington. Carrington is a multifaceted guard that can do a little bit of everything on the offensive end, and should only continue to get better after a strong rookie season. He just averaged about 10 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists per game, and while his shot selection isn't always the greatest, that's to be expected of rookies, and once that cleans up, he will be a gem. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about the hidden gems for these teams. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.